Hi everybody. The most important term in the contract after the price will probably be how much money your landlord will contribute, if any, towards your closing costs and your other costs. These seller contributions are often called seller credits. I haven't seen any numbers on this, but I think it's very common for landlords to help pay their renters' closing costs when the renter buys the house. The question is often how much they'll contribute towards the renter's closing costs. After all, as we talked about in earlier videos, there are a lot of advantages for landlords when they sell to their tenants. If you can get your landlord to sell it to you for appraised value, and your landlord also contributes the equivalent of 3% of the sales price towards your closing costs or other costs, then you would be buying the home for 3% less than market value. That would be excellent. Even if your landlord only contributed 2% towards your closing costs, that would still be great. If your landlord won't contribute any seller credits to help you with your closing costs, that's a bummer, but if you're paying market value or less, you're still doing fine. Often the question in this situation is whether you, the buyer, have enough cash yourself to cover your closing costs. You may have income to cover the monthly mortgage payment, but not enough cash saved up to cover all of your required closing costs. Sometimes sellers have to pay some or all of a cash-poor buyer's closing costs to make the deal work. I think it's likely your landlord will contribute something towards your closing costs. Hopefully, it'll be 3%. That 3% might cover most or all of your closing costs and prepaids. Closing costs vary a lot depending on your mortgage fees and the transfer taxes and so on in your area. Nationally, most normal buyers probably pay in the range of 2 to 5% in closing costs and prepaid. Yet, 2 to 5%, it's huge. The takeaway here is to try and negotiate some seller credits so you don't have to spend as much money, especially cash, when you buy the place. Great. In the next video, we'll look at this sometimes very contentious issue of what conveys with the house. That is, what belongs to the house and what is personal property that belongs to the landlord that is just in the house.